Why is it always twisted funny? There we go.
Like there's no justice in this world or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, I can smell wort.
Yeah.
I can smell wort. I can feel some humidity coming from the brew area.
Yes.
We must be at a brewery. Where
Man,
are we?
We're at Phantom Fox Brewing in downtown Mesa, where there's a lot of beer stuff happening in this world, you know? Phantom Fox Brewing Company. I was distributing some posters to our breweries that are participating at Real Wild and Woodsy.
Yes.
And I went to Santan, and as I was walking up, the same emotion of, oh my God, that smells so good.
Yeah.
It was like 1 o'clock. They weren't open or anything, but just, oh man. I knew if I had been 2 hours later, that smell would have been gone.
Sure. We were just talking about this last night. I met some members of the America 250 committee to talk about how to get the breweries involved and some more specifics, but we were talking about some of the struggles that breweries have had being in certain neighborhoods. I sent you the article on gentrification. We talked a little bit about that too. It's a bad rap that some breweries get, and I think naturally, this was an article I sent to you at Casket Beer in North Carolina.
Right.
And it said, essentially because we are manufacturers, we are limited in areas we can go. You can't put a brewery in the same place you can a bar or a restaurant all the time, or any other business, because of the manufacturing aspects, right? So, of course, you're going to be in a somewhat light industrial area potentially, or the buildings are for sale at a lower price because they're older, they need to be rehabbed. Those just happen to be the blank canvases for breweries. So it's not necessarily a plan to go in those neighborhoods. It's kind of like what you're limited to in a lot of cases. And the larger point is, once the effect of transforming a neighborhood, whether it's because of the brewery or the brewery accelerates, or even despite having a brewery there, at some point the brewery is going to be priced out. And I know this happened to several breweries in North Carolina in particular, where the article was written. But I'm not sure if it's happened as much here. I do know that some of the brew pubs that had restaurants were getting priced out, the restaurant spaces. So I think Uncle Bear's, right? Their rents got expensive at some of the locations they had.
Oh,
that they dropped probably right before.
I can't speak to that specifically.
I think probably right before you got there, they would have had among the most locations at the time they were getting ready to put the brewery in. But
yeah, they had one in North Phoenix. I'm not sure what happened with that, but Peoria maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Those are restaurants. Yeah. It's about to get a lot quieter here in a second.
We should just, anytime we're in a bar together, we should just put these on and go. We're just waiting to see if something exciting happens.
We're just hanging out, looking at what's up.
You know how you can hook up, an infinite amount of monkeys and typewriters? We wear these all the time. Chances are we're going to say something brilliant at some point.
Something's going to happen that's great. If you take a book and do a diagonal line, go right through all the letters that line goes through, you'll find some amazing things. Like they'll be like, 9/11's coming up, get ready. All the things are there because the text is bound to hit something.
I did not hear that.
I just are listening to a podcast about that.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So anyway, we were talking about the A250, America 250,
and gentrification.
So, yeah. Well, we just talked a little bit about that, and in particular, one of the members of the committee is Ashley Harder, who does real estate development. And we remember each other from when the property not too far down where Little O's used to be and Roses by the Stairs was a small place that some speculated could be a beer bar, a craft beer bar, or a brewery, but it was too small for a brewery, in fact. But they talked about the neighborhood right to the back of it, and the complaints about the smell of wort. And sure, I guess if you had a barbecue-centric restaurant, you're going to get that too, or other types of foods.
Certainly.
So,
Indian food.
Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
those grills vent out to the,
World.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I get it. Some people don't like the smell of it.
Oh my God, it smells like heaven to me, but
Yeah, I know.
there's a lot of things that we associate with different smells.
Right. We should just do a podcast on smell.
Don't make me smell truffle fries. I just hate them so much.
Oh yeah.
It was from working at Olive and Ivy, and
Yeah.
there was oil on everything, and it was just, oh God.
Yeah. I have secondhand smell.
I have truffle trauma.
Because my wife does not enjoy the smell of certain Belgian beers. They will signal the plasticky flavor profile of a Belgian style. And so like whenever I smell it, I wince because I'm like, oh, she's not gonna like this, even though I enjoy them.
Right.
So kind of like, when you have that dream that you're still going to school and you didn't study for a test. That took a long time to get rid of, and then my wife went back to school.
Wait, you got rid of it?
Yeah.
God, you're so lucky.
It came back for a while when Brenda was going to school.
Yeah.
In her adult years. So yeah.
I had a real estate person reach out to me today asking about a building that they have in Sunnyslope that they'd like to turn into a taproom and just like to talk to me about things. I don't know what that means. That's as much as I know, but
Right.
it is definitely in one of those areas where you go,
Yeah.
that doesn't seem like an ideal place, but
There's
sometimes people need
there's
stuff.
some village bones to it, meaning it feels like a somewhat. You can tell it was a finished space area at one point because things are human scale. There's not the giant parking lots. It's not surrounding,
All the buildings aren't built since 2000.
Right. So, is the Little Miss barbecue still there in that neighborhood?
I can't say it's there.
Yeah.
I can say that when I was looking around on the map, it was there-ish.
On the map. I honestly haven't kept up with that barbecue thing. Actually I haven't had barbecue in a while. Been a while.
Well, hey,
In Arizona.
Oro Brewing Company is going to be opening their new tap room in downtown Phoenix with a barbecue person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a future
Smoked beers, maybe?
thing. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be great.
I think Jesse would be into it.
Yeah, and that's in the former Throne, which was the former Pizza People Pub, which was the former Ken Shervant's Cheese and Wine. I don't know what it was before that.
Yeah, something else too.
Unfortunately, it might have been Fez.
Well, you mentioned North Carolina, and I had another. I had a news story about something that's not. I didn't say. I do heart all the beer things in my newsfeed now, so they come up more.
Right on.
Here's a big important news story: the Ska Brewing Company selling
Yeah,
to a local group.
right. That was talked about during Beer Week here in Arizona with some of the folks from Ska. There was already some speculation that was going to happen. It took a while, I guess, to close the deal. But I saw that and I'm like, wait, I remember talking to a few people about that, and then if you read the article, it mentions February, so it kind of synced up. But doesn't that group own a couple other breweries? Or it seems like there's a lot of consolidation of we know about Denver Beer Company, Great Divide.
Just bought another brewery this week.
Yeah.
Station 26
Yes.
in Denver.
Yes. I've only been there once. It was kind of out of the downtown area.
Oh, I don't think I've been there, but
Yeah.
the picture is beautiful.
Yeah.
That was what I'm pulling up right now.
Okay.
They still have Formation listed as a asset
Location.
of the group, of the Wilding group.
Yeah.
I drove by maybe yesterday, a day before, and there's no longer boards over the windows. So we've seen progress. There wasn't anyone there, so I don't know what.
Was there equipment in there?
There was, yeah.
Because I know they were working on a boiler problem, so I know that there's at least a boiler there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. Dave Thibodeau, founded 30 years ago, sold to a couple families in town, and things. Yep, that's what happens.
Yeah. He used to come down to Arizona Beer Week.
Yep.
For many years.
Many years.
5-6 years.
For sure. I felt like he lived here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, he lives in Durango? What?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what. Maybe I'll have a chance to talk to some of those folks in DC. I don't know. I know consolidation is a topic for our guilds, because if you suddenly have 3 or 4 consolidations, how does the dues thing work out? I mean, on one hand, it's a company that's going to vote in one unified way, but it's potential loss of revenue.
And what did every single reply on that thread say?
What's that? I don't.
All the dues are based on barrelage.
Oh yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah. Not ours.
No.
I wonder if we would consider that. I don't know that it. Here's the thing, though. Our due structure is so weighted to not be very expensive for the brewery. I'm not sure. But and there was always the wrong perception that somehow bigger breweries had more
pull, more say.
Right. They pay the same amount of dues and they have one vote. Now they're going to be in your face more,
and they have resources such as time, to spend working on things that are marketing facing, which includes guild activities often, and they have time to send someone down to the Capitol.
Right. If you have a single person brewing and bartending some time, and maybe they have 3 employees, chances are you're going to get a little bit of that person's time. But again, when it comes down to a marketing opportunity or something to do with the Capitol, you're going to have at your disposal at a larger brewery several people to interact with.
Well, there are tens of breweries around the state where people cannot just leave on a Wednesday because there's an important thing to do at the Capitol.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely impossible.
It might be time for breweries because there are breweries that say, we'd like to pay you more dues, but I don't know how that would work out. At some point, a decision has to be made, and we just have to live with it, because we're not getting some members excited at the current level. And, there's a thought that if there's no skin in the game, then what are you giving up? So, and I mean, I would say 90% of the breweries don't know what it's like to not have a guild.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, the guild is 11 years old as a professional guild.
Yeah.
It's 26 years old as an organization that did not have a full-time director. And therefore, couldn't give those kind of attention to whatever someone needs. Someone hits me up and needs something, I have the opportunity to help them.
Yeah. And how many ideas do you that just don't get anywhere? But that would be, without a guild, that would be somebody reaching out to 7 or 8 breweries and reaching the same conclusion. Yeah, this isn't good. Something that
we don't have time for this.
Yeah, or there's no value in this after all. So, speaking of perceptions, and I hate to just draw on the Nirvana well, but did you see the article? Jeff Allworth has a occasional series called I Have a Minor Complaint. It's usually just a small bitch about the industry or whatever. And the Great American Beer Festival announced 8 more categories this year. And somewhere with the subcategories, there's a potential for 200 medals, right? 200 categories that can be medaled.
I did look at the 2025 GABF categories today, and I was looking for a what's new page.
Yeah.
There really wasn't one.
Well, I'll have to send you that article because there's essentially there's 3 new sub-styles for Mexican lager. Yeah, which is
Is one of them lime?
No.
Because my God, everyone's like, oh, Mexican lager, but we added lime.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a legit category,
Right.
I would say.
Well, yes and no. It's a legit marketing push for sure. But the argument against is you could stack these up against a lot of premium lagers, and there's no way to say that's Mexican and that's not.
Yeah.
And they already have like an international lager category. I'm not a maven enough to really parse that out, but that is the argument. That as a consumer, yes, I have a light Mexican ale, I have a more amber, and I have a right. But in terms of how that specs out and what the tasting notes are,
I would say from the Brewers Association perspective, there are some people who are super proud of this beer and they don't really find a category, so it ends up in a catch-all.
Right.
Like, I know it's a lime Mexican lager, but is it a fruit beer? No. It's not going to perform well in that category.
Right.
I mean, this is just what I think.
Well,
there is a point where you have to say enough is enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, the good thing about categories is you can always change them if they don't work out. And I think that's what's somewhat happening. I don't recall.
Jeff said, what else did Jeff say? Sorry.
No, he was saying there's too many categories, and I guess that's an argument. But what the argument breaks apart is because there are people I like saying, "Oh, it's a money grab," and
how?
Well, because people enter and there's more medals being handed out, but there's only 3% of the breweries ever win a medal.
So what you're saying is they're diluting the value of the GABF brand by having too many categories.
Yes, that's one of the arguments. Well, and that the only reason they're doing it is for the money, which I don't know that it's not necessarily a money maker in and of itself for the Brewers Association. It covers costs and then some, I would guess, because they don't currently pay the judges. There are some
travel benefits and
possibly.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know how that all shakes out, but they get a stipend. It doesn't cover everything. I mean, we're well versed in that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. Like, to me, it's probably the members, the people entering, asking the question, like, "Hey, really, like the Mexican lager thing? We're entering all these in these other categories, but this is what it is. This is what we're calling it. This is, and." There are people smarter than us writing about the Mexican beer tradition, which isn't just, oh, it's an American beer and, it's made in Mexico. I mean, we know from talking to our craft beer friends, Buki Beachy, and some of the breweries that we've talked to, that
from making a Mexican lager and really getting deep into what should we put in this to make it authentic and not just be another light beer.
It's more European than the American brewing culture, right?
Yeah.
A lot of those are German trained.
Vienna lagers, like forever. That's what you put your Mexican lager in, is a Vienna lager.
Yeah. So anyway, it's the larger question of like people accuse the Brewers Association of doing things to make money, and I'm like, what's actually wrong with that?
Well, I mean, but it's the same situation. Look, they're here to promote craft beer.
Right.
If they add another 12 medals or 16 medals,
right.
I mean, sure, if you go back 20 years and you go, well, there are only 98 categories, now we have 200.
Yeah.
Okay, well, also look how many more breweries we have. Like, and the innovation that's gone on since then, that's helped keep this ball rolling.
Right. So people look at the thing, they don't read the article, and they say it's a money grab, or like, and it doesn't map out. And again,
no, the money grab thing doesn't make sense.
And again, even if it were, what is wrong with our national organization that represents all of us having the ability to make money? I mean,
Yeah.
Because if they don't make money that way,
they can't pay people.
Then they either have to cut back on their staff or they have to ask more for dues. And when you ask more for dues, you lose members. And so the people who really believe in it have to pay more. So I don't know. This is one of those push and pull arguments that we have all the time. It's like, well, we wouldn't have to do festivals if dues were more, or there were other ways if breweries contributed more directly to the bottom line of the organization.
I think people at Phantom Brewing created a special beer for the Guild as a fundraiser.
Yeah.
They made the beer. They sold it at cost to their distributor to send out to everyone at that same price. The distributor didn't even take a cut. Barrio and Walter Station shared those profits with the Guild.
Right.
$1 a pint. That's $2.
Yeah.
So,
sure. And I know there are people who are not comfortable with timing, or a lot of our breweries just don't serve other people's beers. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't create their own program. As far as I know, that there were more than 2 took the beer.
As far as I know.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. On the competition side, I can't remember the other categories. That was 3. I think there was 8. There were some more Czech styles, because more breweries are brewing Czech style beers. That makes sense to me. There was an experimental category in that, and there's money involved here, no doubt. Like, one of the hop companies probably paid for a competition based on the usage of a single hop, of the hop that they sell. I think that's so. Like, they had it's called Vera, the hop. So if you make a beer with Vera,
this is not a good look.
I think it's fine.
I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's a good look.
Explain.
If you are saying, hey, if you want to use Vera hop and get a medal, then great, we have a category just for you.
I think it's fine. I think it, because it will change every year, or every once in a while, a lot more frequently. I don't see a problem with it. I think it actually speaks to the innovation part, because they're not saying, you can make any style with it.
Could they just say number hops? You have to use an unnamed hop. But then would that slow innovation on the hop side? Oh shit! Inception.
Well, let's go back. All the categories are sponsored to some degree. So it's not like
all the categories are sponsored, but you're literally branding a category with a supplier.
Yeah.
I don't.
The major awards, you get that award.
I'm 100% working on this for Arizona Craft Beer Awards as soon as we get away from this table. Hey, would you like to make that hop the one?
Well, we talked about it. We really did talk about that not too long ago. Because we were trying to. There was a grain company that wanted us to do a collaboration here, and they would supply the grain. But the way the timing worked out, we just couldn't get it off the ground. And we said, hey, we could do a category if you use this. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that it's kind of like, the chef shows where they give you the mystery ingredient.
Right.
So I don't know.
Here's the mystery ingredient is carnation condensed milk.
Jeff liked that idea. I like that idea. You seem to be
definitely on the fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Terry Ferendorf, who we know as, the founder of Pink Boots, she was one of the first women brewers. She also very publicly shows pictures of the burn she received and talks about safety every year. She traveled across the United States connecting with breweries, including Four Peaks when she was here back in the 90s. Was a brewer at Steelhead, was instrumental in the development of the American Stout, the highly hopped stout, which is that a black IPA? Certainly in the family tree, right? Anyway, she said, I think there should be more medals. I think
there should be more medals. I don't think you're diluting the value of that at all.
No.
And you're giving the opportunity to more breweries.
Right. But I mean, what's the threshold?
I can see legacy breweries being like, when I was coming up in the thing, we only had 78 medals to get, and my medals
yeah,
more
there's
valuable
78 breweries too. So no, she makes the argument, and I like the argument. Now, but what's the threshold? I mean, we have this problem too. Like, we would like to support more categories, but if we're going to get 3 entries, we're not giving up 3 medals. I mean, that's a participation award. I get that. Does that occur at these national competitions, these international competitions? I don't know. It's like 38. Is that too low a number? I think one year I remember seeing 17 for Irish Stout. 17 entries for Irish Stout.
Hey, this world is crazy.
Now, it is a competition. It's a luck of the draw. I mean, like, most times a category won't trend, predictably down or up, or like, you can make an educated guess, but you're not going to know, well, it's already had 17 for the last 3 years, and I'll be the 18th one, and boom, I win a medal. I mean, so there is that aspect of it, right? But she makes the point, like, more styles, more innovation, and then the argument gets forwarded that maybe there should be regional competitions, which I don't think that maths out. I understand, like, all right, yeah, this is the Southwest round. You're talking about, logistically, you're talking about a year, a constant, it's like the elections taking more and more time, taking up more of our space. I think you in a perpetual, because you virtually guarantee having to ship beer several times, whether that's directly from the brewery or it just keeps moving. The time frame, coordinating that, I just think the math on that, and the cost to set those up. This is the argument against.
That's why guilds should have their own competitions.
Yeah. That's the other side of it. Is like, as it stands now, like, the VA has doubled the amount of competition, and that does bite into what we do, I guess, by a third. Having World Beer Cup every year, makes it an annual cycle instead of biannual, and
right.
Yeah, that can take away from competitions. Ours is a newer competition. It has promise, but there are larger competitions for sure. I just thought it was odd because why don't breweries make more than IPAs, but then you're saying there's too many categories. And I don't think that was the point Jeff was making. I think it was more like, as a beer writer, it's dizzying to step through that. Like, I don't know, like, it's the people who are excited about it are not necessarily the breweries. It's the insiders with some information, and like, it bothers them for some reason that someone would get a medal that in their heads they don't, that brewery couldn't possibly deserve it. It is very gatekeeping, because the consumer, like, this is a style I never heard of. It won a gold medal or won a bronze medal, or I heard from our brewer that did really well. But like, so it is an educational piece. It is a marketing piece. It does the discussion. It does
help highlight innovation in the industry.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That was on my mind.
All right. Well, good. I think that was valuable. Sure. All right. I need another beer.
Yeah, me too. Let's take a break.
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies.
I'm Rob Fullmer, the Director of Government and Community Affairs for the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Executive Director Andrew Bauman.
Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
Oh, hey, we're back, Rob.
We are, and I have an American Stout. Isn't that wonderful?
It is, and you know what? I have another obscure style called a Saison.
Yeah.
Some of our newer listeners might not be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Delicious.
There was a brewery contract brewery here that was marking that as an ancient beer, and we know from that it was a response to lagering. Was we're in the Low Countries. We don't have German refrigeration. We're going to make a pale colored beer that can survive temperature swings. So our yeast is going to be very expressive, but it will compete with German style lagers. We're talking about mid 1800s. We're not talking about 1540. We're not talking about the 700s, right? Anyway.
I'm familiar, yeah. That famous Saison brewery.
Yeah. So I'm going to Milwaukee tomorrow, but I'm not sure how much beer value I'm going to be able to pull off. I'm taking my mom, and we're going to visit Wausau. And there's some breweries there. And we're close to Stevens Point. And my friend Brandon.
That's a big brewery.
Up north.
North Brewing Company.
I just don't know how much time I'm going to have. We are going to visit the location of where my great grandfather had land along the river and had a sort of a summer camp, and now has our name on a sign and a McDonald's.
Good enough.
Yeah. So most of the people we know have passed on or moved on. So there's a cemetery with my last name on a bunch of headstones up there.
It's a semi-solo trip.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I went camping this weekend.
Did you?
I went up to just about 10 miles north of Strawberry on the Rim Road.
Yeah.
Such beautiful country up there.
So that was you and
me and Nick
and Kai,
his son Felix, my doggy Kai, and then Brady came down on Saturday. He opened Beaver Street, got done about 3, zipped down. We had dinner. He stayed overnight in the tent.
Right.
And hung out on Sunday morning. We went down to Strawberry and had some pie bar empanadas.
Empanadas.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And
did you saunter through the lavender fields?
No, but I spent quality time at that brewery.
Okay.
Are
they making kombucha still?
I did not see kombucha. I headed up there, and that was the only stop we made from Phoenix to Pines. So the dog needed a break. And I knew they have a very dog-friendly space.
Yeah.
It's mostly outside. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Had a great beer.
Did you run across any Arizona Trail through hikers?
I did not on this time. That
You
is a
have
big
another-
thing for them.
Yeah.
They have one of the supply boxes right there at the brewery, and
Yeah, no, it's a big deal for sure. I guess it would be starting to get a little warm for people going north, not coming south at this point.
I also, on my way up, as I was driving up the Beeline Highway, saw the Oso van
Oh yeah?
with one kale in it.
Yeah.
And I was at that brewery, said, hey, I'm at that brewery. And he said, oh, I'm over at Old County Line.
Oh, is that the pizza place?
Right next door, yeah. So I went over there and said hi, and couldn't be long because they had just gotten their food, and then Kai was in the car. So unless we were gonna sit on the patio and have some beers, I gotta go. So
Right.
he generously gave me some beer to take up camping with me,
Nice.
and then high five. He was on a sales call to Heber.
Heber.
He drives faster than me.
I got it.
We went to Heber and then back to Old County
Nice.
in the same time it took me to get there. Wow.
Was there beer? Was he loaded down with beer, or was it just sampling?
He was not delivering beer. No.
Okay.
That was the question, right? Yeah. No, he was sampling. He had some spirits. He's like, oh, I have some beers. I have some spirits in the truck if you want some. I was like, no, bro, I'm good.
Ain't that kind of party. I gotta wake up.
Mm-hmm. Felix wakes up at 5:10 in the morning.
Really?
When it's at Nick's house, less intrusive. Sunday morning, all 4 of us are asleep. The sun comes up, the birds start chirping. Felix wakes up, kind of like I do every day anyways. And he's like, hey guys, I think it's time to get up. So cute.
How old is he?
He's 5.
5. Okay.
So Kai was excited about the idea.
Yes.
Brady said he would fall on the sword and let me and Nick sleep a little more.
Right.
And then hang out with Felix a little bit. But and they left the tent, and then I kind of dozed back off, and all of a sudden I hear all this commotion when Kai came back in. She was like, "Oh, there was an option? You mean the option was I could sleep more?" Okay. So yeah, she came back in, and
How old is Kai?
Ooh, she is 11.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, well, also that Felix had the ball for an entire day before that and just was throwing. She was wrecked.
Right.
But at that point, Nick and I were like, all right, well, we're just going to get up.
Did you have one of those non-alcoholic camping or hiking beers that we talked about last week?
I had no non-alcoholic beers on this trip.
See?
I did bring a Guinness 0.0.
Did you?
It is back in my fridge, though.
Yeah.
Should have had that for breakfast.
Hey, so technically, I think we're right around beginning our 4th year of doing this.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Because let's see, 52 weeks in a year, 246. Yeah, we're at. We put 155 in. This would be 156. I know we missed a week, but the number of episodes is
3 years.
It's 3 years, but we're going on.
We're starting 4.
Yeah. So.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So maybe I should rethink the opening. I think after 3 years, I think we can shorten that up a little bit.
Perhaps.
I don't know. And clearly this summer, the focus for me has been not being in Arizona and exploring other things. But I try to tie it back to what's happening here in Arizona. I mean, that's the whole point. But yeah, Milwaukee probably won't be a beer value thing for me.
More Wisconsin than Milwaukee.
Yeah. So after that, I am going to spend a week in San Diego, which
Cool.
that might be an opportunity because I'll be with the whole family and I won't be just with my mom. She'll be there, but I haven't been to San Diego for years.
Ours was in the before times.
Yeah.
We used to go every spring break with the kids, and they loved it. And
Yeah.
then they graduated high school, and we just didn't. We haven't gone since. It's crazy.
Yeah. The last time I stayed in Encinitas, but I don't remember how long ago that was. It was at least 5 years. And we didn't do the classic beer things, I don't believe, because we were just staying in a Airbnb and just enjoying the different climate, not necessarily even doing beachy things.
Right.
So, and it's not really like a lot of stuff out there.
We need to do this.
Breweries.
Damn. I did get another email today that was asking about new breweries opening in Arizona.
Okay.
So, as far as the new Oro breweries, Exasperated Engineer, I'm not sure where Jeff's at right now, but he was looking potentially at finding a space. Fort Mojave, in Fort Mojave.
Right.
We've got Mile High in Prescott. We've got Retrograde in
Mile High has a
Safford.
location, yes?
Mile High has a location, has their TTB. I just saw on the DLLC website they're applying for their number 3. So they're pretty far along. Retrograde in Safford.
Mm.
Can you think of any other ones?
I can't, but we should probably mention we're losing a brewery for sure, right? That's something we could talk about.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
A brewery.
Oh, Ranch Hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be around any longer.
Yeah, Ranch Hand is
They
doing something.
They went straight into distribution, and that's a very steep learning curve.
No retail at all.
Yeah. on site. No tasting room. No revenue from serving across the bar. And that was, I mean, I don't know when it was posted on internally for us. I got a couple calls. I'm sure you got a couple calls. People were very confused and wanted to understand if that was a bellwether. And I said, well, it's kind of unique. Yes, they were well financed, but I don't think they understood the downsides of being in a regulated industry and how those relationships work because of our franchise circumstance and all the restrictions that prevent us from being as vertical as any other food and beverage operation, right? And I said, I mean, they're well financed by people who are well financed because they don't throw money after a project that they don't believe in. So that's what it comes down to me.
Sure. They opened Ranch House, saw that it was incredibly successful in an on-premise situation,
right,
with limited off-premise sales.
Yeah.
Said, all right, due to contractual obligations, they had to leave that space, and the owner of Robeson said, let's do another one.
Yeah.
Except in a totally different way that no one really understood. With no retail, it's so much more difficult.
Yeah. And I know they talk to a lot of people, but they seem to talk to people after they have made decisions, not before. I don't know, but I don't know when if they give a date, but they're definitely just meeting obligations with their distributor, and then that's it, done.
Right.
They were with Crescent Crown and Finley.
Finley. They were very happy with the progress they had there, but that just doesn't cover the entire state. They're Southern Arizona strictly, and just gets rough.
And in terms of that space, it would be really tough to have somebody post up in there because it's not really near anything, and
it's owned by the owner of the brewery who wants to get their money out of it. I think that rent would be pretty high. But on the other hand, they might just want to say, hey, someone get in here, use it, and do something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that they never put a tap room in one of the fastest growing areas of the state, Casa Grande.
They did have their restaurant in Eloy, in their community, that they sold their beer at. But it was very different from a tap room. Certainly not a craft beer,
right?
Like draw,
right?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, well,
I think Casa Grande is supremely underserved. I do know that they just opened distillery, just opened a place called Duke's in Maricopa. So Maricopa finally has a craft beer place.
Right.
And it's only been like 20 years since they started really building that city out. So there's opportunity out there everywhere in the state.
Yeah. But like I said, knowing that they opened essentially a brew pub to walk away from that and start something super ambitious. The interesting thing here is it's owned by the Robeson the Elder. I don't know what his name is, but and
I think Paul.
And that is the Karen Taylor Robeson family, gubernatorial candidate for sure. On the Republican side, the primary, as it looks right now, looks to be her versus Andy Biggs, who is by no stretch a beer fan at all. So it
how does that look for the future of the industry in Arizona, is what you're saying?
Yeah. It would have been nice to have somebody sympathetic to the hurdles of breweries and distribution and all that stuff.
Small business?
Yeah. But,
We don't know.
We can't
We
choose
don't
the
know.
governor, so we just have to deal with it.
This is why voting matters.
Yeah, but in this case, it's like, I don't know, pick your poison.
This is why voting is
yeah.
America. Pick your
Yeah.
poison.
I mean, not to say that candidate Robeson and she, I mean, whether she wins or loses is still going to be a power broker in the state. It would be interesting to sit down and find if there's a way to transform, again, their lack of success or their reticence to continue to try to succeed into our policy goals. We'll see.
There was a huge hesitation to get involved in distribution through a distributor by Robeson because of franchise.
Yeah.
So when they eventually, which was several years after they opened, decided to do it, and it didn't work out, I am relatively sure we may have a governor that is not friendly to franchise in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how involved she was with the brewery and the brewery operations, or even if she was involved at all.
Right.
But
so if you're
could be good for us.
if
I don't know.
you're BW, if you're
Are there governors like?
if you're BWDA though, I mean, who is your money going towards? It's going to everybody on the other side for sure, and some. I mean, they're gonna spend money. So does funding campaigns and make that all go away? Possibly.
Probably.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. You know, if I were a member of BWA, I was like, that didn't work out, so we probably have to kick in some extra money this year and next year and the year after that. I don't know. That's how that works.
That's some 3D chess you're playing there, Rob. Good job. All right, well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do that. Anything on the? This is.
I got a Real Wild and Woody on my plate. I got Arizona Craft Beer Awards. I got.
Oh yeah, so I get back from Wisconsin. I will be back for a day. Then I will be heading up to Flagstaff to
Wow.
set up the full frontal marketing assault and Real Wild and Woody headquarters at the establishment. So
Yeah.
that's what I got going on.
Yeah. This weekend, potentially, we have a political rally that my family will be going to. And that's about it. And then it's gardens, which are suffering in this 113 degree weather this weekend, 114.
Mm-hmm. Is this the kind of political rally where I'm going to recommend that you either not take your cell phone or you remove the biometric lock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I still have my my Pixel 4a that I reset to factory settings yesterday and entered like 7 contacts in. Like that, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's it.
I'm at the end of my beer, so
Cheers, homie.
we're not even going to do the tagline. We're just going to
We're not going to do tagline.
no
Why?
tagline. Because we didn't do the Andrew Bauman,
Hey, Rob.
so now I guess we can do
We're
it.
just doing that as an outro.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a good one.
Cheers.